Welcome to Mary Queen Stories, the official podcast of Mary Queen of the Holy Rosary Parish in Lexington, Kentucky. Our mission is to receive God's love, proclaim the greatness of the Lord, serve joyfully, and make missionary disciples of Jesus Christ. I'm your host, Jennifer Longworth, Communications and Parish Life Coordinator at Mary Queen. Today I have Kabby Akers and Father Miguel and Greg Williams here to talk about BUILD.
BUILD is an organization here in Lexington. It's our justice ministry, and it stands for Building a United Interfaith Lexington through Direct Action. BUILD's been around since 2003. We got involved in 2006. It's a group of 26 congregations, diverse, intentionally diverse, both denominationally, racially, geographically, politically, across the board. We want lots of different kinds of people involved in BUILD.
It is the ministry of Jesus. We have the prophets in the Bible. For instance, we have Micah 6:8 that says, "You have been told, O mortal, what is good, and what the Lord requires of you, only to do justice and to love goodness, and to walk humbly with your God." In the history of religion, it's always been the priest and the prophets. And the priests are the ones who want to be comfortable, do the sacrifices, but keep the status quo, get the money, have a good life. We're good with God, we're good. The prophets are the ones who challenge the priests and say, hey, come on, it's not just about that. You have to do good. You have to take care of one another. You have to take care of the poor, the people who suffer. God will not be happy with you offering sacrifices if you don't change your hearts into the love of God, which means you have to love one another and take care of the poor and the ones who suffer. So we have to balance out the priestly. We need to worship God, but we need to take care of everybody, because it's dangerous if we get only one side, because we get comfortable. I'm good with God. I'm a good person when I am taking advantage of people or let injustice. Whatever happens, as long as I'm fine and have my money and everything, justice is a very essential part of our faith that makes people uncomfortable. Micah was a very unpopular prophet. Most of the Christians, very unpopular, because the priests don't like them. The priests killed Jesus. Selling them to be, because the priests want comfort and convenience, and I worship God, I'm fine, don't bother me. It is so important. The other side is so essential to our faith, especially Jesus. He even died for making people uncomfortable, challenging the priests to do justice, to bring the love of God to everybody. And BUILD is what we have here in Lexington that help us not only to do justice, but to reflect on that, to be mindful of the injustices, to be aware of the call to see the prophetic side of our faith.
Well, we listen to the people, which is how we know what the injustices are. We just don't say, well, there ought to be whatever. We have house meetings. We have hundreds of people being listened to right now. This is the part of the year we're in right now. And we listen to what people are worried about. And in the past, we have heard a lot of stories about elder care. So we're working on elder care. Elder care, we had our house meetings here at Mary Queen this past month. Most of the people talked about elder care. We are getting older, and we want to stay in our homes as long as possible. And this elder care village model is what BUILD is working on building. It's a organization where you can go, and it's kind of neighborhood, but it's not a physical place. But it's a way of organizing people who have needs and who are willing to help. Say a person wants to stay in their home, but they're having problems with the outside work. They can't get the trash buggies down to the curb, or the gutters need cleaning, whatever. So they could call somebody and say, the village people, and they would say, this person can be trusted, or this neighbor is offered to help with that. And it's just a way of connecting people in a neighborhood to help each other build community and help people stay in their houses for a longer time. So it's anywhere from one person suggested, well, we could have a music group, seniors get together, or we could sing together and build this community. Wouldn't that be healthy for them? So it could be lots of different things kind of centered around the needs and the volunteers in this community. I've heard a lot of people complaining, well, more than complaining, struggling with rental issues. The landlords are not taking care of their apartments. Rents are going up, and they can't even find who the landlord is to take care of it. So we're worried about that problem. A lot of people are suffering with that. And we're also working on transportation. We started with transportation as an issue with mental illness, because we heard that people with mental illness would do a lot better if they had the transportation to get to their care and could be connected to society. And then we learned that lots of people in Lexington don't have transportation. The elderly are isolated often because they don't have transportation. People could get to jobs if they had better transportation. So it became a much bigger issue as we researched it. We researched the problems and looked for solutions. That's how we know what to work on, is we listen to the cry of the people, literally. Sometimes we'll go to an official and, we'll tell what the problem is. They say, we know what the problem is. I said, no, we've talked to the people. This is the problem. And that gives us a lot of credibility, because what one of the council people said the other day, when Bill comes to the council, they don't just come with the problem, they come with the problem and a solution. And I just thought that was really powerful. That's true. There's different levels of being involved. I'm a team member, and there's 5 team members. And then each of us has Justice Ministry Network members that we invite to our house meetings. We listen to them, and they commit to coming to several meetings throughout the year. And then we have the big Nehemiah Action, and then they invite people to the Nehemiah Action. So there's lots of different levels of interest that you can have. I mean, I'm involved in all the research, so I do a lot of stuff. But somebody who just cares about doing something in the community can come to the Nehemiah Action and participate there, because that power is in the number of people that we have at the Nehemiah Action. So that's one easiest level. If you get invited to the Nehemiah Action, say yes, go. It's a great experience, and you're really contributing to the good of the whole.
We say 50-1. The first time I said, what is that? It means we come 52 weekends to church, and one day we go to the Nehemiah Action. So you do 52 to the church and 1 to Nehemiah Action. Our goal is to get everybody to participate, because if everybody understands that justice is an essential part of our faith, and all you have to do is one day, couple of hours a day, to be and support the ministry, you are making a difference. So that's the least we can do. Then, as Kabby said, you can get more involved. There are many things to do. Learning. I've been at workshops with Bill, and it is beautiful what we learn, and we begin to see the nuances that we don't see usually on how the injustice is all over, and it blinds us, the way society tries to make us blind to the injustice. So we are fine. Everything is fine. It is not fine. There is a lot of injustices. It's that the idol of money and power and all that is against the God of justice. It is very clear. And we need to look at that and understand that. And the least we can do is to support the Nehemiah Action once a year.
Let me share, when we first started doing this in Mary Queen, and that was like in 2006, so we've been doing this for a long time, I had a really hard time getting people to be involved, and they didn't understand doing justice as part of our faith, but they didn't see the problems. He said, well, I've got a nice house, I got health care, car, my neighborhood is safe. Why would I be involved in that? And that's when people started getting involved. And we would go to these meetings, and we would listen to lots of different people, and we'd meet people from other faiths and from different parts of town and different colors and different everything. People started to understand why we do this, because if they're hurting, we're hurting. And then as we started doing more and more people shared mental health problems in their families and addiction problems in their families. And that crosses everybody. And I started realizing that the work we're doing does affect me personally. My house is good, but I've got a child with a mental illness, and what am I going to do to help them? So it has really helped our parish as we've talked to each other, met other people, found out that the problems we're working on come from the stories we hear at our house meetings, and we're going to do something about it. And if you feel helpless in the public realm out there, being a part of Build and doing something positive in Lexington has been a great, great help to me, just mentally, to be able to contribute to the society in a positive, meaningful way. Lexington's better because of Build.
Hi, my name is Greg Williams, and I'm a parishioner here at Mary Queen. I'm part of the Justice Ministry Network. I've recently became a network member last year, and I decided that I wanted to be a bigger part of the team that I've been in the past. Because I'm a person, I'm born and raised here in Lexington, and I love our city. I think we're a great city, but I see injustice throughout. There are many things from a job as the educator. Over the last 30 years, I've seen families that go without food, families that go without adequate housing, without electricity, without heat because of landlords. And being part of the Justice Ministry team and working through Bill allows us to address those kinds of issues. My family, my siblings have gotten older, and they are going to Social Security and down that avenue right now. And because of the limited funds they have, it's hard to find a place to live that is that's a good, safe place. So that's part of the things that the Build Network has addressed in the last couple of years. They really hit home with me. They hit home with my family. They hit home with friends, with the students that I had at school. It's for me to help give Lexington the right push to address those.
Praise bands come, and we have music about justice. We have people from all over the city. The diversity of it is one of the things that I love the most. We have testimonies. We talk about our problems that we're voting on that time. We have testimonies of people who are experiencing that problem. And then we ask the officials who is responsible for changing that problem. Say we had in housing, we'd have the mayor come and stand before all of us. And for 7 years, the mayor said, no, I'm not going to start an affordable housing fund. But he felt the pressure, and we kept going back to council. We kept going back. And finally, after 7 years, and it was an election year, he says yes. And the good that has done, we've had it going for 7 or 8 years now. And, $365 million has been leveraged in the community for that. We have almost 4,000 homes that have been created. It's been tremendous. And we've even gone back and got more commitment from the city because the need is tremendous. And we're making a difference with that. It's that we haven't solved the problem, but we're making a difference. And so it's all good work, but it takes power to get that kind of movement going. And that's what Build the Nehemiah Action is, a representation of the power of the people. We come together, we show our official that we care. One story I'd like to share is several years ago, the issue was addiction. And we realized that the women in prison didn't have a treatment program where the men did. And we thought there's an obvious injustice there. And so we talked to the people who put it on for the men, and they said they could do it for the women. And we invited the mayor to come to our Nehemiah Action. And this was Teresa Isaacs. And she said, well, it's not something that, we can afford, and blah, 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 I'm not going to come. And then finally we convinced her to come. And she said, I'm still going to say no. And we said, that's fine. And then right before the Nehemiah Action, she let us know that she would not be there because the women were playing in the NCAA tournament in Chicago, and she was going to go there instead. So we said, okay, well, that's what we're going to tell people. Oh, no, don't tell people. That's what I'm doing. I said, is it true? Yeah. Then that's it. So the morning of the action, she called back and said, I changed my mind. I'll be there. I said, great. She said, I'm still going to say no, but I'll be there. I said, that's what we want. So she came, and she listened to the testimonies, which are powerful, to people who were struggling with this problem. And it would have saved some of the lives if we had had that program. And she said, you're right. This is an injustice. We need to do this. If you'll stand behind me with the council, we'll see that this happens. And she committed the funds. And that program is still in the jails to this day. So how many lives have been saved? I don't know. It just takes the power of the people and having listened to us. And we've got credibility now that we know what we're talking about, and we ask for reasonable things. And it's good. We've done good things at Lexington. COVID really just upset everything. So kind of had to rebuild. after. Many churches are too. Things just really changed with COVID. But our goal this year is 1,250. And hopefully we make it. Mary Queen's goal, I think, is 250. So we're going to do our best to work towards 52 on.
Well, Kabby said that we have people know Bill now, and we have also some people who don't like Bill. But it's like the prophets. Many people didn't like the prophets, and some people may not like us or don't like what we do, but that's okay. That's part of when you're trying to change things, it's going to happen. So don't worry about that. Jesus said, if you follow me, you will be, will suffer. People will talk bad about you, and people have been killed for Jesus. So if we really love God and our neighbor, we're ready to put up with things, negative things, whatever that has to come to us because of working for the good of all, and especially for the ones who need it most, because that's what God calls us to do, and we'll do it no matter what. And even though we get in trouble sometimes, that's part of it. And Jesus said, rejoice. Rejoice when you get in trouble for following me, for doing the work of Jesus. So don't be afraid. Sometimes it's uncomfortable, different with some people, but that's part of it.
Sometimes with the officials, it's uncomfortable because they don't like to be challenged. They don't like to be told that what they're doing isn't meeting the good. So there's a lot of tension. We do a lot of training with the tension. That's a big part of what we do when you get real involved, is you're trained to deal with negotiating and researching problems and stuff. So there's a lot to it. So you can get as involved as you want to it. I love it all.
I just want to invite everybody to be part of Build. As I said, the minimum we can do is to go to Nehemiah Action to support the justice ministry that we're doing. And remember that we do that for the love of God and for the love of our brothers and sisters. We cannot change the whole thing, but we're making a difference, and especially trying to be mindful of the importance of justice as part of our faith.
This spring, you're going to get an invitation of a Justice Ministry Network here at Mary Queen to attend Build's Nehemiah Action. It'll be April the 14th, 2026 at Central Bank Center.
Thank you for listening to Mary Queen Stories. To connect with us, visit mqhr.org/podcast. Until next time, and always, Mary Queen of the Holy Rosary, pray for us.